Greetings and salutations, actually. I don't listen to Sunshine Shoulders very often, and for good reason, really. Calvin thinks he's as the title, the self-proclaimed expert on Filipinos. Yeah, how many rejections has he had? Now, there's nothing racist going on here, but of course somebody will make something out of it. But he's in the minority of the list out here that Filipinos are looking for, being an African American. They generally don't like foreigners with dark skin. Generally. There's some that don't care. If you got money or whatever, okay. But let's talk about that. He generalizes too much about what he thinks that what Filipinos want. And he basically makes a mockery out of foreigners that come here that want Filipinos. And he automatically just talks about, that they're all looking for money. Well, look, one thing I agree with Calvin is this, yeah. And I've always have, and if you watch my show, you know that the greater the gap in age, the more bullshit's going on. Okay, because let's not try to compare ourselves to America. It's so different. Somebody marries or gets in a relationship with somebody close to their age. Of course, that's not America. I understand that, but his idea of all this is that they're all out to scam you. They're all out to fuck you over. And they only got one thing in mind. He talks about older gentlemen that they can't do this and they can't do that. And that the women want a cream pie. And that older guys can't give them a cream pie, his own terminology. He's all over the planet. Him and, let's say, Jasper, who I really never listen to anymore. I don't even know what's going on with that guy. But that was a guy that came in the country no more than 6 months that he was in the country. He was selling advice to everyone about Filipinos. He knew everything about them. And the fact is, he probably hasn't had many Filipino girlfriends at all. Filipino girlfriends, Jasper. And if he did, they weren't, it didn't take very long for them to separate, if you know what I mean. Okay. Country Road, it's kind of ironic for a black man to stereotype others, I know. Not the Fed. His story and advice changes with the wind. Thumbs up, says Anthony. You're glad I have a different topic here. Okay. I had a busy morning. I just now got showered and dressed up, and I do my chores around here too, let me tell you. I at least help out. There's like this generalization that goes on about, well, everything from older guys, what they can and cannot do. So no older guy, in his opinion, that everybody's got a limp dick if you're older, that you can't give cream pies, as he illustriously calls it. What a bunch of fucking nonsense. The expert on Filipinos. The fact is, I think he has had more failures than successes with women. He put himself in a country where light skin is golden. It's the golden chalice. Filipinos like to have lighter looking skin. They want to have babies that are part white. And he's in a minority of choices. He might be called a minority in America simply for his color, as that terminology has been applied for many years. But, excuse me, fact is he's more of a minority out here in the Philippines. I think he's had a lot of, well, he tries to profess that he's had all these successes, all these women, but I don't, I mean, I don't follow that much. I know what I've seen. I know what I heard from this guy. I don't know if he's actually married to somebody. He's got a wife out there, a kid, but he hasn't had all successful relationships. So how is he playing professor that knows everything about Filipinos? Then one thing that gets me, that old man smell. Say these Filipinos go out these guys that smell like Absorbine Junior. That was one of his famous statements, which he used many times. I don't smell like Absorbine Junior. I don't use Absorbine. That's for aches and muscle aches. You're getting old, in other words. So all old folks, the stereotypical thing with him, they all smell of Absorbine Junior. Really. He's still legally married to the first Filipina. That's all right. Yeah, exactly, Brisket. He's the Calvin is the black bummer, right? And he has a live show, I think, going on. Well, it was earlier. Maybe it's going on right now, but I couldn't listen to any more of it. I was doing something. Let me put something on and listen to. See, he was live, and this guy just, you know, blurting out from his jowls the biggest fucking bullshit ever. Call people out when they need to be called out. That's my rule. If somebody really needs to be called out, call them out. He's as wanted in the Philippines as somebody wants to go to a fucking prison, you know. Then, people label him a scammer too, and I'm not gonna get into legalities of his so-called scamming. People have said a whole lot of things about that. I'm not gonna say that, but I've heard quite a bit. How much of it's true, I don't really know. So for legal purposes and just to be decent about the situation, I'm going to say that I can't prove anything that he scammed anybody at any moment at any time. I don't know that. There's sure a lot of talk about that. Yeah. He managed to walk away clean from that complaint. Yeah, there was some kind of complaint again. What was the complaint exactly? I'm aware of that. Something, yeah. Yeah, Calvin is no position to preach about any fucking thing. He picked the wrong country to come in. But he came out here and he talks about all these Filipinos coming out here to get a little wussy and all that shit. Well, what the fuck do you think he came out here for? I think he likes to, my opinion, I think he likes to dominate women. That's what I think. I've heard enough of his shows. I'm not a regular listener of him. And then when I do listen to him, it's very short. So I get kind of disgusted looking at him and hearing the bullshit that comes out of his mouth. The only thing that Calvin does good in his life is that he exercises. And he really does. And it's the real deal. He exercises. He does something good for his body. As far as that goes. Anything else he does, drinking, I don't think he does any smoking at all. But yeah, he could get down there and do push-ups. He can do a little weightlifting. He does this and that. Not a bad thing. It's a positive about him. But I think everything else is all bullshit. I don't understand what is his purpose for coming to the Philippines in the first place. He's always talking about guys on dating sites with women, and it's all bullshit. Well, let me tell you something. My woman ain't bullshit. And I initially sort of met her on a dating site. And, I've had some that were bullshit. But she's the one that wasn't. Just because somebody, the dating sites, I'm not big on the dating sites. I never really liked them. Because the truth is, you don't know who you're getting. If it's even the same person you're talking to, it's there's something to say about that. But it doesn't mean that every woman that goes on a dating site, and she never pushed it. I don't know what it was on. Filipino Cupid? I don't even remember what the hell it was on. So many years ago. But, we met. It worked out. Here we are. 9-year anniversary coming up. A matter of days, really. And still got a great relationship. It had nothing to do with money because when I met her, never spoke about money. Nothing. Sure, a lot of Filipinos can make an assumption if you're white, you're all right. I mean, you got money. But they also realize that not all all foreigners have money. They're judging you like you're judging them. They're making an initial assessment of you. First, they're looking at you, they're saying whether you're a good-looking guy or bad-looking guy. That's first we all do. We always start with that. Then, as you get to know their personality and so on and so forth, and both of you is kind of take a good look into what you might deem to be good qualities about a Filipino. Okay, let me erase. Oh, the typhoon relief. That was the one. Okay, he managed to walk away from a complaint. Okay, no, 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 no. Now the Fed says addressing this to Anthony HAE. Yeah, he did a few of those things. I think he changed it up to not personally collect, but point to other sites. Here's my 13, magic number 13 again. I got 13 avid viewers. There's that number again. So there are certain channels I cannot listen to on here. There's obviously one that just, hits me viscerally. And the only reason I'll listen to it is hear the bullshit and do some recordings to use for, future purposes. Of course, you have to. If you got that involved in the situation, you got to keep up on it. There comes a time that I can't even listen to him because, unless you like listening to broken records, it's like listening to a loop on a tape that you hear over and over and over and over again, nonstop, and the same shit, the same rhetoric. I can't listen to that, no matter who it is. I always found it hard to listen to Fazio. It was difficult. If I needed to fall asleep, put his show on. He was long-winded. There were times I was sitting on my chair in the living room, and I swear I was nodding out like crazy, and my eyes open again, and here's him talking again. And there was something about monotonous about his voice and everything else. I just couldn't deal with it, man. Okay, not the Fed. Okay, yeah. So, Calvin probably still is alive going on. I couldn't listen to it. I was in the middle of doing some shit here, and I want to put something on and listen to. I was actually on a treadmill, and sometimes I'll listen to something while I'm on there on the treadmill. And I had to turn it off after about 12, 15 minutes. I can't stand even looking at his fucking face. And some people have that visceral effect to me, needless to say. That guy's so full of himself. Now, what's the deal with him? He's supposed to have all these girlfriends, he claims, or what is the deal with that? As I said, I'm not an avid viewer of Calvin. He strikes me in a very negative way. That's the only thing I could tell you. No, I don't want to tell you which ones I really listen to a lot because then you could go over there and say some bullshit about me or something. I have my favorites. And some of them are British guys, not even Americans. Most of the shit that comes out of Americans' mouth is all bullshit. But the Brits, some, not all. And by the way, what happened to, clue me in on this? He's got to be 84 if he's alive now. That Brit in the Philippines guy, or the one that got in trouble because with the BIR and taxes and licenses, and this guy was like, building houses for Filipinos and all that stuff, and he was collecting massive money from a huge audience he had. Do you know who I'm talking about? He's got to be at least 84 minimum right now. And he's married to that Filipina. Remember, he was really involved with the church people, all the church people, the ones that tuned into him. He's 82 now. Well, that guy knew what he was doing. I know he used to be a musician or something, of some sort, but I forgot what else he was doing. But he almost got ousted out of the Philippines. I don't know what happened that prevented, but, he was driving a brand new truck and everything else, and now lives in a better house, and they were living in a shimmy shack, him and his wife, whatever. They were living in a shack. Oh, he just did about a video about all the the pills he has taken. Who are you talking about? Calvin? Or you talking about the British guy? Oh, Beth and Terrence. Yes, thank you very much. So he's still kicking. He's still doing shows. But the last time I ever checked, there were no comments available on there. I remember when he was in his heyday and people tuned in. You couldn't even read the comments. They were going by like a ticker tape. He had so many people making comments on there. That guy was making money left hand and right. No, you can't trust everybody on YouTube, man. I don't know what their narrative is, and I don't know. I really don't know. Hold on. Hey. Oh, it's just some people passing by. Quiet. Okay. Well, thank you. Okay. My God. Ginger. People can't even pass by, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. The prepper dude is hot. You talking about a dude that's hot? I ain't gonna say any more than that. They just built a huge housing unit. How did he get away with this shit, man? Well, good for Beth, I guess, because, I remember when they got a new vehicle and all that stuff, and, and there's a lot of people, I'm not going to name names for legal purposes, you know some of the big names on here, that benefited from the typhoon and all that. Now, I'll tell you who I do occasionally listen to, 8 Miles from Home. But they remind me of some fucking family TV show or something. They kind of like try to be like too perfect. Too perfect. They got involved with some charitable things too. And there was I believe there was some controversy with that. But this guy's got a house he built. He owns this. Got a nice vehicle. They're living a really good life. They're both British. I don't know what his mix is. He has dark skin. I don't know if he's an African American / British, whatever. He needs to shave his beard and do something with his fucking hair, but he's got the weirdest fucking kind of like beard that kind of veers off and it's not symmetrical. I don't know. I noticed that a lot. I'm not saying that they're not nice people. I've actually enjoyed a few of their shows, but they really play it up and they use the child and Poppy. Don't forget the dog Poppy. Everybody has a gimmick on here. Everybody has a gimmick. It's Poppy. It's Poppy. Lassie, come home. And they do have a very brilliant child, though. Let's talk British. Brilliant. She's brilliant. They've done a really good job raising her. See, I'm not like attacking these people. I'm telling you what I think. I think everybody has a gimmick with their show. People like the family unit type thing. They follow that kind of stuff to see how things are progressing. When they had storms at the house and they were showing the storm, Sargal, and all that. That was a little bit interesting. There was a few shows on there I thought were pretty good. A very intelligent child. She's like a lot older than her age, if you know what I mean. She's she's advanced in her well beyond her age. They don't seem to be like bad people, but there's something, I don't know, there's just something that's not right. I mean, I followed him for a little bit, and they're just a little bit too prim and proper, if there's anything such an animal as that. And the most horrible diet, but then that's, individual. I'm not going to sit around eating tofu, everything and all that, and Maybe it's healthy, yeah, but sorry, you know. But that's an individualist thing, what you want to eat, yeah. Let's see. Calvin thinks he is the Arnold of the expat community. You mean little Arnold from Family Ties or Arnold Schwarzenegger? Two big different things, man. Yeah. No, I don't personally like Calvin at all. He's too wishy-washy. He's all over the place about, he sounds like a real womanizer, to be honest with you. He sounds like a womanizer to me. A complete, like Jay. Jay's an absolute womanizer. There's no question about that. I've heard his shows. All they're good for is a fuck and cleaning your apartment or doing something. Yeah, and it's usually guys like this that have failures, a lot of failures in their life, and they treat women like shit. And I can think of another guy, no need to mention him on this show today, who definitely is a womanizer and has fucked over a lot of fucking women. But we won't go there. Enough of that. Yeah. We got all kinds of characters out here, man. Oh, God. There's something I'm supposed to do today, and I can't remember what the fuck I was supposed to. I know I'm going to work on getting a carburetor for that generator, but that's not on a priority list at the moment. Oh, I got to send these papers out. I got to do that this morning. I got some papers I got to document and send it out electronically to get some money. To get some money. To get some money. Oh, yeah. It's nice when people owe, well, this is a different story, but it's nice when people owe you money and you don't owe anybody. Shit, I got 100,000 coming in tomorrow. It's not my Social Security. Pesos, of course, 3,000 coming in from, I'll call it an inheritance if you want to call it that, from a friend. It's coming in, as long as it's coming in, not going out too much. Yeah, Calvin is a little bit wishy-washy for me. He speaks in that tone of voice, like a kind of an kind of a authoritarian type of voice, know-it-all kind of voice, blurts it out. If he was that much expert in women, maybe his relationships would work out better. He makes a lot of claims from the times I've listened to his show, and believe me, it's not a preference of mine to go to his show and watch it all the time. I just, every now and again, every blue moon, I kind of tune in on him. But I don't go beyond that. But he just reminds me, he's in the wrong place, and there's some Filipinos that are curious about, black skin. Okay, there are, you got tribal people out here that have very dark skin in the Philippines, but did you know that even in America, even in the United States, the one thing I noticed is that black chicks in America, they don't like really, really dark skin on their men. We had a Nigerian guy that worked for us, and his skin was black as coal, and Nigerian skin are very dark. The pigment is so dark. I mean, it's actually black. I mean, it's not brown, it's not tanned, it's not, and most, blacks, we call them blacks, but they're not blacks, Their brown skin is what they are. Most are, except, you come from regions like Nigeria and so forth. This gets into anthropology and all that, why their skin is so black, and, it's just a long story, but we're not doing an anthropology show here, but they don't want, and he said it himself, he goes, even the black women out here they don't want anybody with my dark skin. I said, why is that? I said, they just don't like, my skin's too dark for them. And a lot of African-American women in America, they proclaim, to be very dedicated to their race. But they went through a phase where they were wearing Afghan wear, different types of clothing that was very much related to what people from Africa would wear, the kind of clothing. They went through a phase, but then they got really pissed off, is what happened, because there was a time it started to become pretty common for interracial relationships. I remember those times. It was completely opposite one time, but then I don't know, rap music came in that did something. I don't know what, but and then all of a sudden, you know, you had black men dating white women, which you before that time you just never seen that. It's not Guess Who's Coming to Dinner show movie, and they started dating white women. Other people seen it. Oh, they can get a white woman. I can get a white woman too. And African American women, oh man, they went on a warpath with that. They went on a warpath. They were worried. Them white women are taking our men away. We can't have that. So you know what they did? Come on, let's be real about this. Let's be fucking real about this. I'm willing to be real about this. They started doing things to try to make themselves look more white. I mean, they bleached their hair blonde. They would, try to resemble in some form or way a white woman because they wanted to get their man back. But it was too late. It became a thing, even where some white women didn't want to really date Hispanics a lot. There was a lot of that going on too. But with heroes like, there's a lot of Hispanic guys who were big name baseball players, and white women wanted them like it was the golden fucking chalice. Let's be real about this. I want to be real on my show. I want to be real. So black it looks blue. Black women are dedicated to their race because they find it hard to date outside of their race. Well, that's true. You're not making a racist statement there at all. And I tell you if you were. No, it's true. I've seen the changes. I've been around long enough. It even came to the point, I used to talk about this, that these teenage white girls, you would think they were brought up in the South or somewhere. I mean, and you hear them talking. When they're at school, you're passing by, and African Americans do have kind of a slang, right? Do they not? Is that a racist comment? I don't think it is. They have a slang, a Southern type of slang. You could tell when somebody's singing if they're black or white. Okay, on a song. Oh, that's that black woman singing. What's her name? Oh, Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin. Okay. That's just a joke. Okay. Yeah. So what's the story, babe?
Story of the day.
Story of the day. You've been busy. I've been busy.
Yeah, always busy.
Busy, busy, busy. But it was true what I'm saying. And I've seen these teenage girls, and I'll hear them in the background. I'll turn around. I'm thinking it's a black teenager. Some blonde-haired Norwegian something, whatever, white bread background. But when you hang around blacks, you could develop that accent too. If you were born in the south of the city, I don't know why it is in every city, the African American population always migrates to the south of any town. When I grew up, it was the south part of town in Mount Vernon. That's where the blacks lived. Okay. South Bronx. You went to the Bronx. There were a lot of blacks and Puerto Ricans and whatnot there. It was always the south side of town. What is with the south side of town? Is the sun stronger? I don't know. But as I said, I've seen the changes going on. You see, it was cool. You got these really bold teenagers that were very defiant of their parents and everything else. I want a little challenge. I want a little attention. I'm going to date a black guy. Oh, and the white bread parents. Oh, they'd fall apart. They'd fall apart. because it became, when rap music came out, it was a popular thing. It was the in thing in high schools and so forth. Dating and having an interracial relationship. But before that time, you would never see that. You would never see that. It would be taboo. You could do it on the sly, do it on the sneak, but it was never accepted. And it really wasn't until rap music came in. And because the blacks thought it was cool, and because that's what was predominantly playing when rock and roll died, all you hear was this rap shit. And that's all it is shit. And they're sitting in fucking mansions with 50 cars for rhyming words. For rhyming words. Fuck, I should be a rap star because I could do that pretty damn good. I should be living in a mansion with 50 fucking cars. I should. I missed my calling. But yeah, I saw the changes going on. And I don't know how we got into this. We're talking about Calvin, who happens to be African American, but I love the way we segue into shit on here. I guess that's what's unique about my show anyway, if I say so myself. No black or Filipino men for my kids. Is that racist? No, that's not. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. That's not true. Well, oh man, what was I going to say without sounding? The one thing I have noticed is there's a particular smell on the skin that's very prominent with African Americans. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but that's one thing I noticed growing up in high school, and there was a smell. I have no clue what that's all about. I don't have a clue. But I did notice that. I don't know what your experience has been, but I've noticed that. But, you know, I don't care. I don't care who dates who of any fucking race. Is my woman white? Is she Caucasian? No, she's not. So fuck this racist shit. If I wanted a white woman, I'd have a white woman. She's not a white woman. She's not Caucasian. Amazing rapper. Be a lot of things, man. Country Road. The smell is that what it is? Or is it the Dixie peach they used to put in their hair? Oh, God. They used to use Dixie peach. Remember that? It was like a Vaseline to keep their hair in place. Okay, the smell is cocoa butter. They use it for the ashy skin. Also, if you eat a lot of fried chicken, you get... You gonna start talking about watermelon now? Then you are gonna be racist. Also, if you eat a lot of fried chicken, you give off a smell too. Is that racist? No, not really. No. Yes, but they had ashy skin. That they did, and they sweat like a son of a bitch. Remember when Louis Armstrong used to play his trombone? That motherfucker was. That was his spiel. He'd be carrying that rag around with him. If you even remember who Louis Armstrong is. A fantastic trombone player. That he was. No, hey man, I'm telling you, it's come down to that in this world. If you put the word watermelon next to a black, you know, and making reference to a black guy, you're being fucking racist, man. Look, let's just face the reality. You can't say anything about anybody anymore without being considered wrong or racist or yeah. This is our society. This is our society, man. Nina Simone. Why does that name sound familiar? Nina Simone. Is that a singer? Oh, they're playing the drums again, practicing. Oh, Whitney Houston was fantastic. I've seen her without makeup, you know, in different shows, you know. She wasn't as good looking, but you know, when she had her makeup on, she's a beautiful woman. I mean, you know, in a golden voice. Golden voice. Whitney Houston, that's what you call talented. I don't care what fucking color she is. She had talent. It's a shame how she died. Even her own daughter attempted suicide. I mean, I don't know what the fuck's going on in this world. Well, I know that was way before Whitney Houston, yeah. I like that we're being very honest with this topic. I mean, right away trolls will say, oh, well, Frank's talking about all this racist shit. No, actually, we're not. We're talking about it. We're talking about what racism really is. We're talking about how white children were influenced by black. And that's why we have, and how possibly rap music had an effect on there. Now, you know how kids are in high school. Everything that's trendy they're going to do. They're going to dress like the others. And remember, the Catalyst Society. Always talk about the Catalyst Society. You ain't going to shut me up about the Catalyst Society, ever. Till I'm dead. But, listen to that music. The fun thing is they play the same fucking thing on the drums. The same trumpet. They teach them, I don't know what it is. They teach them to play one thing. It's a parade song, you know. And it doesn't vary. That's a cultural difference out here. Let's talk about cultural difference. You hear the same drum, the same horns, you know, trombone, whatever. I haven't ever heard anything different. Have you? Do tell. But I remember back in high school. And I remember at the times it was taboo. It was absolutely taboo for a black woman to marry. Look at the babe. What's his name? The golf player. It was hotter than hot. Hotter than hot. Simone. Well, no, what was her name? Hotter than hot. The cutest thing you've ever seen. The cutest blonde you've ever seen. When a black man becomes successful, now I don't know what the percentage is on this. I can't prove it. But the most successful athletes that happen to be African Americans, who do you think they have on their arm as a trophy? A white woman. You could argue me with this till the cows come home and I'll disagree with you. It's a fact. It's their trophy. That one time they were oppressed, you never could see a black woman even looking at a white woman, he'd be whipped or something. That's how our fucked up society is. Now, it's a common thing. It's common. You see that all the time. But a successful black man, to finish up his portfolio of his wealth and success, whether they're athletes, a lot of them are, is having a white woman on their arm. Okay, let's see, not the Fed. You tell him how I won't get my 3K. Whatever laws in Hawaii don't apply to New York. God, that guy is like fucking jealous of everything. It's a done deal. I just got to send the papers in. That's all. I'm doing that today. I just copied them this morning because my printer wasn't working. I was thinking, wait a minute, I don't have to send in those fucking hard copies. Just fucking send back. You just, basically, we just do it a very easy way. We just take a photograph of the documents with my signature on it. That's all we do. And I send it back like in an email. That's how I did it last time when my brother left me something in the bank. How could it be jabber mouthing about I'm not going to... Is he digging for dirt that fucking deeply that now he's saying I'm not going to get my $3,000? He's expert on everything, isn't he? But he's in fucking jail. How's he an expert? So he's talking about how I will not get my $3,000. It will be garnished by Hawaii. God, he's so resentful of me. Amazing. So absolutely resentful of everything about me. It's not his worry who's sending me $3,000 or if I get it. It's not his concern. It's absolutely not his concern. I hear that Obama's doing a show and he's saying, "Oh, Frank's not going to get the 3,000 that his friend left him, and because they're going to garnish it." Well, that situation was in Hawaii. Under other circumstances, that could be true, but it's not. This guy's from New York, but it's wishful thinking on his part anyway. What a goober, man. He's nonstop, isn't he? The mouth that keeps on running, but no truth comes out of that mouth. I'm not going to get the 3,000. Yeah, okay. I guess he knows better than I do. After all, he's a very educated individual. He doesn't like me having any success at all. He hears I got a couple of bucks coming in or something. He's never going to get that. They're going to garnish it. They're going to garnish it. Well, it's not Hawaii. It has nothing to do with a civil case. Nothing at all. My brother left me a tiny bit of money. Tiny. All I had to do was fill out the paperwork, show ID, so forth, and got my money electronically. The guy is so stupid that he's actually comical. I mean, it's gotten to that point where listening to this goober it's like going to a comedy stand-up or something, Maybe he missed his calling. I'd pay to see him at a stand-up. I would definitely pay to see him. Oh, absolutely. Because I'm sure there'll be plenty of laughs for the audience. The funny thing is they won't be laughing at his jokes, they'll be laughing at him. That's the difference. Oh, anyway, guys. But yeah, I was primarily talking about Calvin here. No, I don't listen to his show on any regularity at all. Someone asked me, what are some of the shows that you actually listen to? There are several. A lot of people think I'm listening to people like Ricky and all these people all the time. That's not true, actually. Sometimes I do. But in actuality, most of the time that I spend on here, I'm always looking up something about some famous person or something. My girlfriend could account for that. I'm always looking at something. It might be some doctor talking about health. It could be, and she could account for that. She hears me listen to this stuff. She also hears me listening to some of the goobers on here too, but predominantly what I listen to, I look up a lot of things. That's how you get information. That's how you get knowledgeable. You look up things, and it's a marvelous tool to have Google in your hand. And even for Yahoo, there's some things on Yahoo that, not on Yahoo, YouTube, that I've learned from. So, anyway, with that being said, let me go finish some unfinished business here. God, he's jealous. I'm getting 3. Oh, my God. He doesn't want to see anything positive happen to me at all because he knows so much negative is happening with him. Let's bottom line this out. Too bad, too sad. Okay, take care.